Hey Andy, what if you ask, do you have any reservations about hiring me? And the answer is basically no. I'm assuming you mean no, comma, great experience, enjoyed meeting you, and then get rejected in some form. Okay. Now, couple of things. Jeff is referring to the video that I just released on Tuesday on my YouTube channel where I talked about the question you need to ask at the end of the interview. And let's level set this group here for a second. It's a, I don't know, 6-minute video or so that I put out on Tuesday. If you really got ants in your pants, you can fast forward through the first 4 minutes and go right to the part where I tell you that you should ask them, do you have any reservations about hiring me? Now, I don't want you to do that in a 15-minute phone screen. I don't want you to do that in the first, little interview where you've got a text screen, something like that. It's something to be reserved as you get into the process and you spend a little more time with these folks. Now, when you ask that reservation question, the reservations comes in one of 3 forms. They either made an assumption that was incorrect because they didn't get information that they needed from you because they didn't ask for it, you didn't tell them, they made an assumption that perhaps you didn't have the right skills or experience that they needed. That's a misunderstanding, in which case, if that is a reservation at the time of the close of the interview, you can now clear that up. If the reservation is something that you spoke about with them and they misunderstood it, so they had a gap in information, that was first, or they misunderstood something you said, you can actually clean it up. Say, well, that's not what I meant. Well, actually, what I was getting at was. But the third form of a reservation is an actual reservation that's legit, meaning I have a reservation that you haven't managed a team this large before. It's not to say it's insurmountable, it's just a reservation. Now, we might be able to overcome that. In your case, you would want to dampen that and talk about why you would be able to handle that or make a better argument or whatever it might be. Now, if they don't have any reservations, there is a possibility that they don't have any reservations, but that someone else in their process is actually a better fit. In my estimation, if I don't have any reservations about hiring you and I'm ready to go, then the only way you would not get the job is if I decided not to fulfill the position, if I decided to delay it, or if I decided to hire somebody who I felt was stronger. So I might not have any reservations about you. I just might like this other person even better. So that's the case. Now, here's what I would say. Jeff, if that happens and they didn't have any reservations and you felt that you really hit it off and they didn't have any reservations, then I would ask the recruiter in this case or the hiring official, I know you mentioned you were pretty comfortable with me, you didn't really have any reservations. Is there any reason I didn't get the job? And my guess is they would likely tell you one of those 3 things. If that's the case, so we decided not to hire, we decided we're going to delay it, or we chose somebody better, you go and you give them the rejection response. If you guys don't know what the rejection response is, I have a video on the YouTube channel about how to get the job after being rejected. I'm not going to go into what the script is. I give it to you in that video. You tell them that, you send them that, and in that email to them, you're going to say, okay, thank you for letting me know you decided to not fulfill this position. If you change your mind, I want you to know I'm very interested in reconnecting. If anything else surfaces that might be suitable for me, I'd love to come back because I love your company and you guys are the bottom. Okay. Second thing is, okay, you delayed it. I want you to know that I would be open to connecting with you at that time when you reopen this, blah, blah, blah. Third thing is that I selected somebody else, Jeff. You were great. Somebody else was a little bit better. In the rejection script, you talk about your disappointment in not getting the job. And you talk about the respect for their knowledge of their company, right? They know best. So I'm not going to go into a whole script, but we point to these things. Say, I really hope it works out with the person you chose. If anything doesn't go the way you thought, I'd be open to reconnecting. Or if you add people to the team, I want you to know that I would be open to talking with you at that. what good can I make of this at this time, and what is the best response so that I can plant the seed today so that I might be able to circle back with them in 30 days to make sure everything went the way they thought it was going to go, when the likelihood of it going the way they thought it was going to go is probably 50-50. So you are trying to fill all that in. So to answer your question, this, Jeff, is a great tack on to the video that we just released on Tuesday about do you have any reservations about hiring me, and answering that at the end of the interview. This is a great follow-up to, if they don't have any reservations about hiring you and they don't hire you, what's the likelihood or what likely happened, and what should I do? So I wish I could put that title in YouTube. Maybe we'll cut this up for you and dump it out on the channel as well. But that's a great question. Awesome follow-up to what I put out on Tuesday. And by the way, back there, boop, right there behind my little watchful eye and the Think Pink and my markers and all that other stuff, the interview intervention book. On page 79, I go into some of this about the reservations question in the closing time chapter, and that book right now, still as I sit here, is still only $7 for the envelope and the service fees. So I'll ship it to you anywhere in the world. You get that, you get the ebook, you get the audiobook, you get some other goodies and all that good stuff. So I hope that helps, but grab it while it lasts. Actually, and wait, let's cap this off with one little testimonial from Gladwin Adams, who said, I asked that reservation question yesterday in an executive level interview, and it was well received by the panel. In fact, they cited it as a very insightful and mature to ask. It is. And somebody from Hungary on my YouTube channel said, I think her name was Julia. Julia, if you're out there, think I don't remember this stuff. She said, in a polite way, that she wasn't sure that the question that way would work in Hungary, or it might be off-putting. And to that, I responded to her on the YouTube channel and said, what I share with you guys are my recommendations and my guidelines and my templates and my tools. They are not to be implemented without thought and adaptation for your situation and your culture. So what I said to her is, perhaps she could use something along the lines of that, the theme, and soften it up if that was what she wanted to do. And you could always go with something like, based on our discussion, do you see any gaps in my background related to what it is you need in the hire, or something like that, just whatever it is. However, the one thing I do want to caution you of is I don't want you to play around with the negativity of the question, meaning you need to ask the reservations question so that you elicit a negative response, meaning you need to know if there's anything they're holding against you. Okay, so you have to pin them in the corner, because that's the way you get that exposed, and then you can squash it. As opposed to, what do I mean? What's the antonym of this? Well, how do you see me fitting? Do you see me fitting in the organization? That's the opposite. You went into the positive direction there, and their reaction could be, well, sure, I can see you fitting in here. Stop thought. But I can also not see you fitting in here, right? So you're not getting what you need with why the question was designed. The purpose of the question is to elicit any misunderstandings that you can correct, or any gaps in questioning that you can fill in, or if they do have a reservation, you can dampen it, as I went back to the three different types of misunderstandings, or reservations, I should say. So keep that in mind. I know that was a little kind of roller on there, but I do think that those are great follow-ons to that. And I appreciate Jeff's question and Julia's question on the YouTube channel. Very good stuff. Very good stuff there.